Winter smiles. A solitary essence, not forged for this world. Who only knew love through death. Thank you. Oh, bless you all.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing, Joanne?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Thanks very much for speaking to me.
Yeah, no, pleasure, absolute pleasure.
And a huge congratulations on the on getting to open FrightFest this year. It must be a huge honour and a huge amount of fear at the same time. No, not in a good way, I mean, eh?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, crikey, never in a million years did I think that this movie would be the opening movie of the festival, particularly as it's their 25 years and all of those things. So I just have been grateful, really grateful to for the movie to have got into Fright Fest, but this is kind of very much the icing on the cake, and very, very, very excited, slash really fucking nervous as well, because
Well, if it helps you anyway, I thought the movie was fantastic, so hopefully that should calm you down a little bit. I mean, I'm only one person, but that's my honest opinion of it. So,
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. It's I'm really proud of the movie. I'm proud of everybody who was part of it, and every single person was vital to that movie. So I'm proud that they have this as well. But yeah, I am really happy with how it's turned out. Yeah.
oh. I mean, tell me, it's been a long time coming because it was obviously originally it was a short film. It's been quite a long
Yes.
journey for you. Can you tell me a little bit about how this journey came about from the short film to the feature film, and how you decided this was going to be the best kind of calling card for you as a feature director?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So obviously the short film, we filmed a good few years ago now, and it was Tracy Shields who brought the story to us. And we wrote the screenplay for that, and then I always felt, 7 pages or whatever it was, 10 to 15 minutes. I always felt there was more to the character. There was more meat on the bones than what you can ever do in a short film. It's just a slice of life, really. You've got to find that beginning, middle, and end, which is sometimes super difficult. And I knew that there was more to the story, more to the character, and myself and Tracy talked a lot about how we could expand it and make it into a movie, and we did. But also at the same time, there was a lot of other stuff that I was doing, other films, in between. So you get sidetracked, of course, and that kept getting put on the shelf. And and then I think we eventually had a 50-page screenplay that Dom had written, but it was not finished.
Right.
And it still had work to do. And then out of the blue, I got an email from a friend of mine who was a producer, and he said that they were looking for a genre film, a female-led genre film, for their slate of six films, all led by women. And I said, well, I've got a few, which we did. We've got a few on the filed away. But I thought, well, hang on, let's test the water with Sybil, because it was something that I felt very passionate about, although I knew it hadn't been finished in any way, shape, or form. But if they liked the kernel of the idea, then we could expand it. We could create more. Anyway, and if that fails, we've got other ones that we can send them. So I sent him Sybil. He liked it, and he just said, obviously, this isn't a full script. We need to do some work on it. So we worked with him for about, I don't know, between 6 months and a year, I think, just sort of going backwards and forwards, rewrites, da 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 da. And eventually it got the green light, and the rest is history, really. I couldn't believe it. But I did say to him, I said, if it's possible, and I was actually probably a little bit more forthright and bold, but I said I needed to direct it. I really wanted to direct it. And I'd only directed 2 short films. Okay, I've produced and co-written stuff, but I hadn't actually directed a feature film before. And anyway, it was lucky for me because they were looking for female directors who hadn't directed a feature film before. So the stars were aligned, I suppose, which never happens to me, may I add. It never happens to, it happens to everybody else. It doesn't happen to me. So I was really, really fortunate. Felt there was a good dollop of luck there, and a lot of hard work. So
yeah. I mean, you say that it's essentially it's a female-centric film.
Yeah.
We see the film pretty much all the way through from Sybil's eyes now. But I mean, you mentioned Dominic there, who wrote the original script. How much of his male gaze came into that, and how did the male gaze kind of help create Sybil with this female gaze that we see in the film?
Yes, I think so. I think I think Dom's really good. He's a really good writer, actually. But I think a lot of it, most of the story was from myself and Tracy. So, the characters, all the other satellite characters were ours, and the arcs and, the story arcs as well. He just really sprinkled his magic on top of it. And he's got a great ear for dialogue. And, he's been in the industry for 30 years. So he's working with scripts every single day of his life. So he understands the beats, he understands all those things that one has to have, the hooks at the end of the scene, all of those things. So I think he did a really great job. I think he really elevated the script, the story, and obviously, we worked together on some of it as well, and took some bits out, added some, but yeah, he really did sort of sprinkle that magic on the script, I think. Yeah.
Without giving too much away, I mean, the film is very, very dark, very macabre, but at the same time, there's a lot more humor than I expected, and a lot of comedy gold that I wasn't expecting, because it's a very, very, I mean, it's great to shine a light and have a laugh about death, because we don't like to kind of speak about death.
Yeah.
But it must have been really difficult to find that right balance, just to get it just right, no?
Yes, I mean, I always like to find the comedy in a tragic situation, or the light in the dark, and I think as long as it's based in truth, I think then you can get away with it. And I think it really, I mean, obviously the script was great because there's some wonderful lines in there, and I think because Rebecca is such a great actress on so many levels. I mean, she played it so straight, with such realism, and so nuanced, that I think that really helped lift the character. She committed 100% to everything that Sybil did. I mean, she could have felt really embarrassed, she could have felt awkward about some of the moments, but she absolutely committed, and it's the only way I feel that character could be played, because if there was a millimeter of doubt or fear and non-commitment, I think it would have really sort of it wouldn't be what it is.
I know exactly what you mean. It would have lost the audience if it didn't feel real. No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, talking Rebecca, how did you decide on her? I mean, obviously you said after working with her, you've seen what she's capable of, because it's a fantastic performance. But what did you see initially that you knew that she was just the right person to play Sybil? And what kind of characters or people maybe did you base the Sybil character on? Because it's a very unique, eccentric character. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very, very unique, and I suppose I saw quite a lot of actresses for the part. It was all through tape, because I was in Serbia at the time, and we didn't have time to go over to England. It was, the time was of the essence, as it always is. And as soon as I saw Rebecca's tape, she just encapsulated everything that I wanted to see in the character. the fact there was a kind of enigmatic quality to her. So I was kind of watching her in her tape and thinking, I'm not sure exactly what she's thinking here. And I liked that, but she committed to that. There was this kind of warmth to her and a strangeness, which really came across. And I remember.
Sorry to interrupt you, but when you just mentioning that, her eye movement for me was essential. She's looking at things around, and you just cannot figure out what's going on in her head. Like,
yeah. But she knows what's going on in her head. Do you know what I mean? And
Oh,
it's that one of those. She's so detailed in her breakdown of what the character was and is, and her motivation. She was absolutely so, just so bob on and everything, and asked so many questions, challenged me, and it was really, really good. And we spoke a lot about her past and what she's been through, and then she would, constantly, say, so what about this? What do you think about this? And it's like, yeah, try it. And I said to her, because she knew that I'd done the short film. And so I suppose that can be, she hadn't watched it on purpose, which was wise, obviously.
Right.
But she absolutely knew what she wanted. And I said to her, sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. I said to her, I just want you to make it your own. You ask me all the questions, but it's yours now. This is yours. Make it your own. Enjoy it. Fly with it. Run with it, because you are Sybil. And with that, she just, she was just bringing so many different layers to the parts. And we talked about her sort of fantasies and her magical kind of sort of almost spellbinding moments that she, to her was so real. And they were based in truth, because there was a pain to her. There was a deep-seated, rooted pain. So she used these fantasies to help her, they were kind of cathartic, I suppose, for her.
Mm-hmm.
And in the audition, when I'd seen lots of other actors, all of whom were great, of course, and some were Northern England, some weren't, some were this, but she did her audition because she has family in the Northwest. So she did it in a Geordie. And I hadn't thought of it in a Geordie. I'd only really thought I really wanted it to be Northern. And I just thought Yorkshire, because that's where I live.
That's where you're from.
Yeah. And, but when this Geordie came, I was just like, that's perfect. It's perfect, because the Geordie accent is so warm and kind and friendly. And I just thought that's such a great juxtaposition with some of the elements of her character and what she can, get up to, and what her motivation is, and her darkness. So it really sort of, for me, that kind of cinched it. And I remember showing the tape to the execs, and I showed them a few, and I said, this is the one. And they all just went, yep, yeah, that's creepy. Yeah, that's great. And then obviously I hadn't met her by that stage, and then I met her on Zoom to talk about stuff, and she was just such a delight. And I knew that she would be, it's one thing having a really, really great actor to play a part, but it's also knowing that you can work with them and they're a team player and all those things, because it's hard enough as it is, isn't it? Being on the film set and working and long hours and no time and all those things. But I knew that she was going to be this incredible team player, which would set the bar for the rest of the production, for the rest of the cast, for the rest of the crew. And yeah, she really did. She set it high because of the really wonderful person that she is, and the hard work that she put into it. It was really a delight to see unfold.
No, she's fantastic. I mean, you could tell that she went way beyond the call of duty. And I spoke to her the other day, and she said that she misses Sybil. She misses her.
Yes, we all said that at the end. We had such a great time, and it is weird having a really great time in such a dark, some of the depths that she had to go to. But we had such a great time, and you know, she made a real character, not just a stereotype. You know, it was a real human with real issues and problems and darknesses and lightnesses and, you know, all of ambiguities. It was a delight to work on, and yeah, we had a great time. So yeah.
Just one more thing before I let you go. I mean, obviously we're inside Sybil's head pretty much the whole film, but I don't think that we could get as far inside her head if it wasn't for Emily Rice's score as well, because it's kind of, it's vital to kind of feel the same way as we do, as Sybil feels through the music. So can you tell me briefly how you kind of work with Emily and maybe with Rebecca as well to get the balance just right?
Yes, of course. Emily was brought to me by my amazing producer Zoe Stewart, and she you know, brought a few composers. And the thing that really struck me about Emily is, she's a Brit. She lives in LA, but she's a Brit, and she had worked up I think she studied up north of the north of England. So I knew she knew the landscape straight away. I knew, okay, that's good. I've got that on my side. And because obviously we didn't film in the north of England, we filmed in Serbia. So I really needed someone who understood the you know, all the elements of the film, not just the characters. And what really struck me about Emily when I met her for the first time was that she really is great with character, and she's really great with story, and she really got the story, and she really got the character, and she was really interesting, and she was asking questions, and she was saying, do you think this, which for me ignited my imagination and my creativity. And I thought, like, she's definitely the right person. So we worked together. It was all via Zoom. I'm not a musician, and I was quite clear about what I wanted, and actually Emily and myself were completely on the same page. And it was really important to me that we really got those sort of strange musical moments, those chords, those minor keys sometimes, of when we're in her head, of when we're in Sybil's head, but then also have those more sort of cinematic set pieces when we're in the wides, or right at the end, at the finale, where there's this incredible, she has composed this amazing piece of music which encapsulates the weirdness, but also the beauty and the hope and the darkness. So yes, it was a really wonderful collaboration, and someone who I would definitely work with again, because I everything that I had imagined in my head, she got. So that's, does that answer the question?
Absolutely, yeah. So listen, thank you so much for your time, Joanne. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. Congratulations again on the movie. I just wanted to say that I said this to Rebecca as well. I said that I love not just the movie, but the ending went in completely the opposite direction. I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but it was such a surprise, but at the same time, such a satisfying ending that I really wasn't expecting to be so satisfying, because it was such a dark kind of movie. I didn't expect it to be so satisfying and kind of, I don't know, left me in a not sad, in a happy way, and almost it was a surprising ending, a really surprising, a really satisfying ending. So congratulations on that.
Oh well, good, thank you. I'm glad you felt that, because it's bittersweet, isn't it? And I think there's a joy in it, but also a sadness, which is what Sybil is, you know, encapsulates who she is. That's what she wanted, you know. So I'm not, you know, advocating suicide in any way.
No, sure, no. I'm just saying that even though it goes so dark, it was just so satisfying to see the end.
Yeah, and it's horror, isn't it? It's genre. So you know, it's all those things. So yeah, hopefully, you know, the audience will feel as satisfied as you. So that's great. Thank you.
I'm sure they will. So listen, have a fantastic premiere. I'm sure it's going to go down really, really well.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best luck when it comes out theatrically as well in the UK.
Yes.
And hope to speak to you again sometime soon about maybe a second directorial feature, which I'd love to see.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you so much.
That's great. No, thank you so much. It's always great to speak to you. Have a great time at FrightFest.
Yes,
all the very
best.
You. Take care then.
Take
Bye
care.
now, Joanne.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.